Hello. Hello. Good evening. We are doing this for the first time. So, welcome all people who have joined. Just let me know if you guys can see and hear me. Yeah, there is a comments box on your screen, perhaps on the right side for you. And if you can just give me a feedback that you can hear me and see me clearly, we can then go ahead with the session. That's just first in the series that we have planned. We have more coming up by Compass. Yeah, so I'm seeing some feedback coming in. People are saying that they are able to hear me. Cool. So let me start with an introduction, and maybe other people can keep joining in this live session. My name is Shomen Chatterjee, and hello. Yeah, I can see some more people coming in. Thank you. My name is Shomen Chatterjee, and I'm a director at Compass Academy, which has organized this particular live session for students and parents who are staying at home currently in the present situation. So, also a message which you have all heard: stay home, stay safe. But I would like to also add a little bit to that. Also, stay curious. People have been confined to their homes for the last about 9, 10 odd days, and there probably 10 days more. So stay curious, keep learning. And this particular talk series is going to be a step from our side to keep that learning on. Um, Feel free to ask questions. I'll tell you about what we are going to talk about. First of all, this talk is going to be for about 25, 30 minutes, out of which I will take my own airtime for about 15, 20 minutes, and then I'll pick up the questions which have come in, and we'll try to answer those queries and questions by the parents and students. So, thank you for joining once again, for people who are just joining. And so, what we are going to focus on is for today is an interesting topic: why good students are choosing commerce, right? So the usual notion among parents and students is that good students should be choosing science. But we are seeing a reversal of trend over the last few years, that good students are going for commerce and not just for science. But before I, kind of dwell deep on that particular topic, let me qualify what do I mean by good students. So good students, as you would understand in the traditional sense of the word, are those who have got a slightly higher marks than others. Let's say about 80, 85%, 90%, or 9 CGPA and above. So the moment, and why I talk about it, the moment somebody gets marks in that particular range, the students or the parents immediately by default opt for science. Marks becomes the most important criteria for choosing a stream, and I'll talk more about it a little later in the session in terms of why that's not the correct way of choosing a stream or a career, right? So, uh, and this particular thing about good students going for commerce is not just a whim that came to us, but it's more based on several talks that have been conducted by us, by me, at various schools across some of the top schools, and based on the interactions that we have had with students in terms of why they are choosing commerce when they could have easily got science when they could have been easily eligible for science, right? So, and I'll really start with myself. That I was a science student myself till about till 12th, and I chose to study physics, chemistry, and math in 11th and 12th because I liked those subjects and wanted to get into engineering. So there was a kind of a liking or love for those subjects, and that became a basis for choosing. It was not just marks. Yeah, fortunately, I did well in 10th board and was also eligible for science, but it was more driven by liking and love for those subjects. And I also ended up doing engineering. Now, uh, yeah, I did chemical engineering from IIT. Then I worked for some time in a chemical engineering consulting company before I did my MBA. So that's where I made a shift. And it's not uncommon. I'm not the first one, and I was not the last one to make that shift. So there are a lot of people, including some popular examples like Sundar Pichai, who is the current CEO of Alphabet and Google. And after his BTech from IIT Kharagpur, he also did his MBA. And so, and it is one of the most popular questions on forums like Quora that I have done my BTech, I have done my engineering. Should I go for an MBA? Now, really wisdom dawns upon us later. Today, I can actually easily question is that if you have to do an MBA, why should you do an BTech? There is absolutely no advantage of pursuing an engineering, doing a BTech, and then ending up in MBA. If you have to become an IAS officer, why do you have to do a BTech? Right? With commerce, it is possible to have that particular clarity right after 10th. So let's say if somebody is talking about a career in management, right? Then after 12th, the student can directly get into a management course like a BBA or a BBM or a BBS. All are pretty much the same. The nomenclature is different. Business, Bachelor of Business Management Studies and Administration, and then follow it up with an MBA, either with some interim work experience or straight, without any break, do an MBA. So there is no loss of time. There is absolute clarity with the student that what he or she wants to do. Starts preparing for that, makes a solid base for that in 11th and 12th, and goes on to do well, not just in terms of marks getting into the best institute, but also do well in their career and enjoy those careers. Somebody wants to do and somebody wants to become an IAS officer. So in 11th and 12th, commerce, which has political science, is really one of the most apt subjects for such a candidate. So after 12th, we can pursue social sciences from some of the top institutes like Tata Institute of Social Sciences. Even IIT Madras has a fantastic humanities department, and they conduct a separate entrance exam for that every year towards the last week of January. And the humanities and social sciences in IIT Madras is on par with the best in India, along with the TIS social sciences course. And after that, one can directly apply for UPSC, and the foundation that has been built in 11th and 12th and in these institutes, the BA social sciences courses that they have pursued, can give them an edge over other candidates for cracking a tough exam like a UPSC, right? So I believe that in following commerce, there's a lot of advantage, right? The other part that I would like to talk about is that if you look at science, there are possibly only two professional streams, broadly speaking. One is engineering after 12, or pursue medicine. Now, if you look at commerce, and a lot of parents are possibly not aware of it. Of course, that set of parents who are aware is now growing by the year. Commerce has several options, starting with law, management, I spoke about, social sciences, hospitality and hotel management, and media and journalism, and so on. The list is really long. And I'm not talking about just plain courses, these are professional options which will lead to careers, right? And Some of the stigma around some of these careers is also vanishing, possibly because of the change of the economic landscape of our country. For example, hospitality and hotel management was really being looked down upon and was a choice which was not made as the first conscious choice by students and parents and so on. So that particular thing is changing because now hospitality is one of the so-called hot sectors. A lot of food entrepreneurs are coming in. The government is encouraging people to set up businesses, and there are SEZs, kind of parks dedicated to food technology and so on. So there are a lot of good careers which are possible in even hospitality and hotel management. Now, let's look at some of these streams in detail. For example, law. Now, law, the most popular exam is called CLAT, Common Law Aptitude Test. The number of takers for CLAT or CLAT as it is popularly called is going up by about 18 to 20% every year. Last year, about 60,000 students wrote CLAT. And this is not the only exam. This is, of course, the most popular and held at a national level. There are other exams like All India Law Entrance Test. Then there are statewide exams. For example, for Telangana, there is TS Law Set and so on. Now, with CLAT alone, it is possible for a student to get into some of the best institutes in India, including the National Law School of India University, NALSAR, West Bengal Institute of Jurisdictional Sciences, JP School of Management, of Law, and so on. And the combined seats at an undergraduate level is close to around 2,300 and counting, right? So that number is increasing. So this is kind of on par with, these are the institutes which are on par with the IITs of the technology or the engineering world. Right? So these are the best institutes to study, and they have another 500 seats for the postgraduate courses also for people who are interested in pursuing postgraduate level courses in law. BBA or BBM, as I spoke about earlier, the most popular or the most prestigious exam is IP MAT. Yeah, there are some more people who are joining. IPMAT, which is Integrated Program in Management, which is a BBA plus an MBA 5-year program. In the top 10 colleges of BBA, there are close to about 4,000 plus seats just in the top 10 colleges. And when we speak to the industry people, the recruiters, they say that the demand for BBA is actually more than MBA. The reason being that BBA, they're really little young, more moldable in the that sense of the word, and industry people prefer them because they can be tuned to their requirements. So BBA is actually going up pretty well, with both the students as well as with the recruiters, because we have to look at also the demand from the industry in terms of a professional course. So, and UGAT, which is undergraduate aptitude test, that is for a consortium of close to around 20-25 BBA colleges across India, which consider this particular exam as the criteria for taking students. Right? So both IPMAT and UGAT are held sometime around May, and students can apply for them. The sections are pretty much common, which is around quantitative, numerical ability, logical reasoning, verbal, which is kind of English, grammar, and comprehension, and lastly, general knowledge. Right? So the students can prepare for about 6 months, 1 year, and then write these exams and get into some of the top institutes. IPMAT, of course, the best institute is IIM Indore. Last year, even IIM Rohtak, which are both are known for their MBA programs, but now they are also getting popular among students for their BBA, integrated BBA programs. So they are the best in the country in terms of their MBA, and now also getting known for their integrated programs. Now, the of course the other streams I kind of really spoke about. So the other myth that I want to really talk about, which is linked to commerce, the moment we say that good students are going for commerce, they said, okay, the only option is then is to pursue CA or chartered accountancy after 12. But I think it's a myth which has now run its course and needs to be busted. One is that CA is just a is not just a, it is a certification. It is a very valuable certification. I have a lot of good CA friends who have pursued this. They're some of the sharpest minds in the country who become CAs, also a very respected profession. But CA is not the only one um, which can help somebody make careers in finance. As I said, BBA. After that, you can do an MBA with specialization in finance and can possibly do even better than a chartered accountant. The other issue with chartered accountancy is that since it is not a course, it's not a degree like a BBA or like a law, in other fields. CA preparation needs one to be enrolled with a full-time college also. But students end up kind of short shifting that particular thing. They don't go to BCom colleges. They don't study. They just kind of go and appear for the tests and prepare for the CA. But the success rate for CA is not so high. It's about 6% in the CA final exams, which means that about 94% of the people don't make it. And a lot of them also don't end up studying commerce well. So they are kind of in the middle of the road, not sure about where to go. That is why we usually talk about the professional streams which will lead to careers. These are degrees like law, BBA, social sciences, hospitality, and so on. They lead to jobs, they lead to careers, they lead to career growth, and so on. Right? So uh, that's pretty much in terms of what I wanted to speak about, for today. But there is so how do we kind of overcome this particular dilemma? So what do we do? Let's say that there is a student who gets good marks and say that okay, I don't want to go for science. I'm not sure about going for science. How do I decide that I'm actually meant for commerce? So what we do is that we have a research uh, well validated psychometric assessment, which is based on strengths. So if you go by what the career experts say, that careers which are based on strengths, even Gallup, which is the largest organization in this particular space, they say that careers which are based on strengths, natural abilities of people, are the ones which are first most enjoyed and are the ones where people will do really well. Right? And we follow a similar approach in terms of helping the student choose the stream based on their natural ability. So it's a very simple psychometric. In fact, students can access this for free on our website, and we then give a detailed report followed by a one-on-one personal counseling um, with the student in terms of which stream should they go for. For example, commerce is not just one really stream; it has multiple sub streams that I spoke about. So whether the student is meant for law or for management or for social sciences and so on, is based on the natural abilities of the person. And that is where we help the student. We guide the student. It's not a one-time process; something which is continuous. The courses, the counseling, all are integrated to ensure that in the 2 years, which are the foundation of his career, that is 11th and 12th, or the plus two, right? They are well guided. They prepare well for the career which is lying ahead of them. Right? So that's pretty much I wanted to speak about. Really, I've also completed my airtime. I can take some questions which might have come in. Yeah. Mm. I can see Vivek. I have completed BBA and my elective is finance. I'm thinking take marketing as my main elective in MBA. What would you suggest me, marketing or finance? Okay, so looks like this is a little out of our subject area today. Yeah, we were focusing more on why good students are choosing commerce after 10. But let me try something in terms of what Vivek is asking. Um, yeah, so if you've chosen finance and then you have taken marketing, so there are two things in terms of choosing a stream, or really two, three things. One is your liking, of course. What made you choose finance, Vivek? That's the first thing that you should really try to answer. We can also probably set up a call separately to discuss about it. And second thing is that why are you thinking about taking marketing right now? So as I said, you have to figure out your natural abilities and strengths and your liking for that particular subject. The second thing is that the external realities. Now, if I look at India as a country, we are looking at a country which is driven more by domestic consumption. And I really have spoken about this in other forums also. That most of the jobs that are there in India are around sales and marketing. So if you remove the stigma around sales, the moment we talk about sales, people think about door-to-door marketing. If you remove the stigma around sales, then this is a fantastic career, both in terms of money and the growth that comes with it. So look at the external realities of the job market currently, your liking for it, and do a fitment there, Vivek. So that's how I can really address it. Uh, Mr. Ram Mohan says, my child has always got more than 90% at school and will get good marks in board exams also. Should I not prefer science? Yeah. So thank you for asking that. Uh, uh, right. So this is something that we actually touched upon in the session, and we're gonna actually elaborate that a little bit more. Is that marks should not be the only guiding criteria for choosing a stream. There are, let me talk about some colleges like Shriram College of Commerce, which is the best in India. You can look it up. SRCC, it's in Delhi University. Then there are colleges like Loyola in Chennai, St. Xavier's in Mumbai, Christ University in Bangalore. These are some of the top colleges for commerce. And you will find that the students who are going there after 12th, to pursue degree courses, are getting marks which are on par with the science students, 90-95%. The first cutoff for SRCC last year, 2019, was about 99.5%. The year before that was 100%. So it was all over the newspapers. And not surprisingly, because they also managed to place the students very well. Can you imagine that a BCom student having campus placements, and the average is about 10-11 lakhs for the campus placements that happened in 2020 in SRCC this year, right? And the top salaries are in the range of 30-31 lakhs. They get placed with companies like KPMG for a BCom student. So you can expect that the students who are opting for commerce are also scoring very high. So the second thing is that, as I said, please, Mr. Ram, ask your child student to really take up the psychometric assessment and figure out whether it is science or commerce that he or she should offer based on his natural abilities. Yeah. So there is one more question just come up from Piyusha. Do MEC and CEC students have same career options, or is there any difference for them? Little bit. There are certain career options. So we spoke about CA. CA is a good career option. For that, you need math, so you'll have to go for MEC. But having said that, CEC also does not limit your options because you do not have math. Right? It does not reduce the career options, the professional career options, the good career options that you can have. So with CEC, actually you focus on civics or political science as it is called now. And that forms a good base for pursuing a career in social sciences. Later on, maybe if you are doing an MBA, you can even take up human resources as one of the careers for which social sciences will help. I spoke about TIS, which has TISS, which has a BA course in social sciences. They are also very well known for their MBA and Masters in Social Work, which is for social sciences. Really one of the finest in not just in India but also in Asia. So look up. These are the careers which are also possible for CEC. There is a difference. Very rightly asked. As you posed here in the question. There is a difference in terms of career options, but none is better than the other. But if there is a student who wants to go for math and is comfortable with mathematics, can go for MEC, and the career options are CA plus others which are also there for CEC. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting another question from Piyusha. Commerce is only for students with low marks. Why should I take that? Yeah, so that's kind of one of is that most of the students and parents think that commerce is only for students with low marks, and why should I send my student into that kind of thing? But that's not true. Things are changing, as I said, and professional junior colleges, and I would count Compass as one of them. They are running an integrated program for CEC and MEC along with preparation for the career options in law, social sciences, management, and so on, and also grooming them on communication skills. So there is a change that happens. Even students with comparatively lower marks, maybe they are not in the 80, 90 kind of bracket, but probably in the 60, 70, 80 kind of bracket, also tend to do well when there is a conducive learning atmosphere. So yeah, and the diversity of students really, that is what helps, in terms of a better learning outcome future. So there is really, that stigma is really only a false illusion that students with low marks are really less. Yeah, maybe on that particular day they did not score, or the atmosphere in which they have learned has not allowed them to do well. But yeah, so but it's possible to change that. So and that's what we are trying to do at Compass. Yeah. So if there are no more questions, then we can possibly wind up. And I'll also probably people who joined in a little late. I would say that this is not the last one. This is just the first one in the series of live sessions that we are doing. Hopefully, it will be convenient for you to sit at home and listen to these sessions and really ask a few doubts or questions. Share it among your friends. We are also hosting another one tomorrow. My colleague Dr. Sharad Karimilla will be um, hosting that particular session. So be there, yeah, and take care of yourself. And feel free to get in touch with us. You can email us on the official Compass ID is there on the website, info@compassacademy.com. Feel free to write to us, and I encourage students to go through the psychometric test, and we'll be happy to help them in terms of making their best career choices. Thank you so much. Good evening and good night. Bye bye. Um, yeah.